Hey everybody, it's Geekopolis here. So I recently just seen, and when I say recently, I mean last night, seen the new Spider-Man movie, Far From Home. This is I believe this is the last movie in the Phase 3, even though it sort of feels like a beginning of Phase 4 to me, but either way, I'm just gonna really just pause for a moment and say I do have two other video review-ish type things that I have seen of previous movies that I haven't got to yet. Um, Godzilla, I'm going to roll a theory video and a review into one because it's not a super relevant topic right now, and I don't want to make two videos about something that's not really that important. And my Endgame review, well, it's not going to be really a review, it's going to be more of a critique. And that's going to be much longer. That's why I haven't released it. So I'm waiting for it to get, ready to get my hands on like just a really good copy of it, rewatch it, read the script for it, and really analyze it. So that's why I haven't released that one yet. Even though Endgame has came out and I haven't written a review for it, but yet I'm doing one for Spider-Man. It comes out after, which is really important to it. So if you haven't seen Endgame, there is of course going to be spoilers because a lot of this movie is based off of what happened with Endgame because it changed so much. Now, I'm just going to tell you right off the bat my personal opinion of this movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought this movie is probably one of the best MCU movies I have seen in my opinion. It just had a lot of things that I enjoyed in it. There was not too much inconsistencies. The story flowed at a nice pace. The music choices were fine. I had no problems there. There's none that I was like, that doesn't really feel like it goes there. That was all fine with me. The CGI was pretty good through most of it. I think maybe a handful of times I was kind of like, maybe it could have been a little more polished, but nothing that really took me out of it. Like, oh, wow, this is awful. Most of it was pretty good. Of course, you got to understand about me, though. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've never been too picky about things like CGI or music choices or really any of the technical stuff because it's been like it's usually for me it's like I can look past it if it's a good story and it's a consistent writing and there's no like gaping plot holes or contrivances that really just make the movie difficult to enjoy and experience without literally just turning my brain off and saying, "Ooh, spectacle." So, but at my low bar, it was perfectly fine. I don't know how it's going to be for some people that are more, picky about that sort of thing, but I really didn't see anything that would be glaring. So that was fine. But the actual story itself, I'm going back and forth whether I want to say I enjoyed this more than Endgame. I think I did, honestly, because Endgame, to me, is a very different movie. It's the type of movie where it felt like what it should, and what I mean by that is it felt like a finale, like it's ending something. Where this feels like, that's why I didn't feel like that, ooh, wow, I can't wait to see what happens next, or like I'm really energized and excited. It kind of felt like a low for me. Like, okay, well, these two characters that I really liked, they're now gone or retired or they're just done. So, it's one of those things where I was like, it was good and it was a good ending. It was a great send off to a lot of the characters, but I also kind of felt hollow because a lot of them that I liked, and my favorite character was Iron Man. I've always liked Iron Man. I thought he had that army of robots, and what he has in this movie was another army of robots that he basically gives to Spider-Man. I'll get into later, but I'm thinking to myself, if he really wanted to, he could just build an army of these robots. He has the means, he has the intelligence, and these amazing suits. If he was a villain, who would really stop him? Honestly, I mean, yeah, Captain Marvel can probably take on one, two, three, four, five of his suits. Could she take on 100? Well, it's Captain Marvel, so the way that they write her, probably. But Thor too. I mean, Thor and Iron Man had a little clash in the first Avengers movie. He held his own decently well. I'm pretty sure Thor would have beat him, but still, I think that if Iron Man had enough time, he would he could have been the most powerful, and he was the most important one in Endgame. He's the one who killed Thanos. He's the one to figure out the damn time travel thing. Little quickly, I might add. I'll get into that in that critiquing of it whenever I get around to that video. But anyways, yeah. So Endgame felt like it was a good ending, hence the name Endgame. But it wasn't energizing like this movie. That's why I liked it more. As a stopping point for a lot of like the original Avengers and stuff, it was perfect. But as a movie on its own, I liked Far From Home better. It was just more exciting to me. I've seen some people saying it was kind of boring for them. I don't understand that, honestly. I thought it was action packed enough where like there wasn't too many scenes where I'm just kind of like, come on, can we just get to the action? Where Endgame had a lot of that in the first act, a lot. Like even me, who was really patient with these movies, thought in the beginning of Endgame, I'm like, okay, can we just get to the time travel stuff because it kept going on, which again was important to that movie, but it wasn't. It was just kind of boring to me to watch. This movie to me didn't have that. It was always something that was keeping me engaged. Something that was really important with this movie was the chemistry I feel between between the actors and Tom Holland and Zendaya, I think her name was, something like that. Spider-Man and MJ's chemistry was really good. I was able to relate to it a lot in a personal way because it felt how it should because he's an awkward kid and I was like that at his age, kind of still am. Really reflected with me well. It was very relatable. It also was memorable to me. Like it gave me like flashbacks of my own high school time, all the years in high school when they had that like what was his name, Brad or something like that, kind of flirting with MJ and like really kind of pissing him off. And, like Spider-Man was just getting cucked like in the first couple, maybe like the first act of the movie. Like he was always trying to talk to MJ and he was like, no, something's always fucking him up. It was like between his job as Spider-Man or this other guy and seating arrangements, all kind of stuff. He had this like plan to like what he's gonna do to try and get her to go out with him and all that crap. But yeah, so that's one of the things that kept me really engaged when it wasn't all action between fighting the elementals and all that. But yeah, it was a good movie. Unlike I feel like that part of it, the constant intrigue and entertainment value to me was more than Endgame. But I'm about to just get into the plot because I don't really have anything else more to say on like a surface level of it. So let's just get into this actual, plot of the movie. So it starts off with Mysterio. Well, actually starts off with Nick Fury and Agent Hall, I believe her name was, Colby Smulders. They were investigating this destroyed like town. I think this was in Mexico. Destroyed by the Earth Elemental, and that's where they meet Mysterio, and that's how it kind of starts. Like he's fighting the Earth Elementals, and they're like, "What the hell's going on?" Then it cuts to this. There was in the beginning a nice tribute to like Iron Man, Captain America, Scarlet, Black Widow, and Vision, because they all were the ones that ended up dying between Infinity War and Endgame. So that was nice. I thought that was like a good way to like just remind everybody that like these guys are gone, but they're still remembered by the people. People still praise them as the heroes that they were. And that was nice. Because again, I really like Iron Man. He's my favorite character, and I love seeing them get respect. And especially because Robert Downey Jr. did such an amazing job in that role. It's I just really like the character, and it's good to see. It made me feel like nostalgic for like the old, because there's a moment like that towards the end of the movie which I was really excited for. I'm like, yes, I'm so happy with that. They had like the pictures from like the first Iron Man movie and stuff up. So yeah. So they are taking a class trip to Europe, hence Far From Home. They end up in Venice, Italy, where they first meet the water elemental, and he's defeated by Mysterio with the help of Spider-Man. Spider-Man doesn't have his suit. Well, he does, but he didn't have it on the little tour that they were doing with class. So he had to sneak away, put on like this mask thingy that what are they called? Those like jester-looking masks, like a masquerade, whatever. So he tried to do his best, but he didn't have his suit, and he wasn't really ready. He did stop a building from falling on some people, nothing too much, but, Mysterio was the real one who was able to defeat the water elemental. Then Nick Fury ends up kind of like, what was the word that Spider-Man hijacked their vacation because he wanted to recruit Spider-Man to help Mysterio fight off these elementals. Now, I know Mysterio from a bit of the comics. I haven't read all his material, obviously, but from what I have read and done some research on, he was always kind of like a I don't even know if I'd call him B tier villain. He was always more like C tier, like very underwhelming, not very powerful. His stories were never really interesting. There was one where he made Spider-Man go, I think, crazy from all of his little. He has a lot of like magic, illusion, trickery things, but in this one he was different. So I was watching. I was like, since he was from a different Earth, they introduced like the multiverse concept. So I was watching, and I'm like, oh, so maybe this is a Mysterio, because he said what Earth was it? 8 something or other, and the MCU was 616, is what they said. Now, I was thinking to myself, oh, okay, so this Mysterio is different. He's actually a hero. He has powers because he's flying around shooting those lasers. And I was like, he has his little energy shield. I'm like, oh, Mysterio has magic now, because in the other iterations it was fake. He didn't have magic. And this one, he's flying around. He has magic now. So I thought that was really cool. Which was unique, because that to me was like, okay, so if they're in different universes, some of them will have different powers, different continuities, and I really liked that. That was great, which opens up a lot of different doorways to an infinite amount of stories, really. So he was trying to, the whole thing was the elementals destroyed his Earth and killed all the heroes, and he was the only one that was left. So he must have been one of the most powerful ones, too, because he was beating the elementals back by himself, pretty much. But I guess since the fire elemental, he didn't want to absorb too much metal. He'd start absorbing energy from the Earth's core, and he'd become unstoppable. I guess that's what destroyed his Earth, is what he explains. I want to make a note here. Jake Gyllenhaal's performance in this was phenomenal. He did an amazing job in this role, and I really liked the character a lot. Like his portrayal of Mysterio, a character which I really genuinely thought was pretty boring in most iterations. I think the only one that Mysterio that I thought was decent was in that Spider-Man game, Shattered Dimensions. That Mysterio is the only one that was, I think, worth anything, honestly. But this one was really good. It was very, very good, and I think that had a lot to do with the acting choice and his portrayal. The writing was spot on too, so it was all around good. So Spider-Man and Mysterio team up to defeat the Earth, the fire elemental, and they do it just barely though. Spider-Man's again not doing much at this point because honestly, there's not much he could have done against the elementals. But hey. He was trying to save civilians, and it was fine. Now, when in the meantime, MJ is kind of like trying to figure out why the hell Peter's always disappearing. She goes and she follows him and picks up this weird thing that fell off like a Ferris wheel during the fight with the fire elemental before it was killed by Mysterio, and she kind of just takes it. Remember that. That's gonna. I'll circle back to that. Um, so then they're like, okay, well, all the elementals are dead, and now Iron Man's just kind of going back to his trip. He thinks it's done, and then we find out. Oh, well, he wants to do one thing before he goes back to his trip. He talks to Mysterio, and he's like, you know what? I don't really want, because Iron Man gave him these glasses, Edith, which was connected to the satellite who had like a bunch of killer drones and all, this amazing technology to hack everything. Classic Iron Man shit. So he gave them to Spider-Man because he felt like he's going to be the next Iron Man. Which, mind you, I am thrilled with. I was so worried that they were going to take it in a direction where Captain Marvel was going to lead the MCU, but now I'm very confident that it's going to be fine. I at this point I should just learn to trust Kevin Feige because he knows what the hell he's doing, and I'm just happy with that because I like the MCU. I've been a fan of it for over 10 years now, and it would really suck if I seen this franchise take a nosedive like the comics have. So, back to the story, because I only mention that because it's important. So he gives these glasses to Mysterio's like, listen, man, you have all these powers, you're really strong, you're an adult, you seem like you know what you're doing, take it. You can have this power on top of your own. Tony wanted me to find the next Iron Man. It's not me, it's going to be you. So he gives him the glasses, and then he just goes back on his trip. Then we find out that, I think this is the only complaint that I have, and I'm going to get to it in a minute. Mysterio, I was a little bit sad by this. It makes sense, and I'm happy, but I really like the character, and I wanted him to be a good guy. Mysterio's actually a bad guy. He like in the comics. I'm like, so what made my kind of theory of so is it like this is a different one? He's just good now, and I'm like, oh no, man, they're gonna kill him, aren't they? I like this character. I like he he's a good guy. He had cool powers and shit, and then I found that it was all fake. He was using projectors and like controlled explosives and shit. And then once he had Edith, he was able to use these drones, like an entire army of them, attached to these. That had projectors attached to them to like make these very realistic and elaborate illusions. If you guys remember from which Iron Man or which movie was it where Iron Man was doing? I think it was Civil War. Yeah, it was. Or he had those glasses on, where he was like had that room where like he was talking to his parents, and it was like a virtual reality thing. It was basically that tech, but like amplified and on like thousands of drones, making the environment all crazy. It was really cool, like the fight scenes he had. He beat the shit out of Spider-Man with these drones because he couldn't understand what was going on. Reality kept changing around him. It was like Thanos with the Reality Stone. It was ridiculous. I thought that was really cool. I was thinking, and this is important later. Why the hell isn't he using his spider sense though? Like, he should be able to detect like what's real, what's not, what's coming, what's not. But that was fine. It was cool to just see the extent of the power that these machines had, but a lot of it was just illusion, and it was really cool. Then he ends up getting hit by Spider-Man gets hit by a train because he's walking around in these illusions. He doesn't understand where he's going. And Mysterio goes ahead with his plan. His plan is to make an illusion so big it convinces everybody that he's the hero, and he's using these drones to like kill a bunch of people. And he's gonna come in. He's gonna stop all the drones. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the ending from The Incredibles. What's his name? What was the bad guy from The Incredibles? I'll put his picture up in editing. I'll fix that. Anyways, yeah, that guy. Like, remember his plan in The Incredibles was like kill the heroes, and then he'll kill the biggest, baddest robot to make himself look like the hero. That's basically what Mysterio is doing.
But ultimately, Spider-Man ends up stopping him because they find out his plan because that thing that MJ had was actually one of the projectors, and that's how Spider-Man figures it out. That's the problem I had. He figured it out so quickly. I was like, wow, you went from completely trusting this guy to, oh man, I see this projector of him. He must be evil. I mean, for all you know, he could have been just recording it to, like, I don't know, show the world how great he is. I don't know. Maybe he's just arrogant. But, okay, that was really my only complaint. I knew I was going to think of some complaint. So that was my only real complaint with that. So after, they find out, obviously, Mysterio's having drones trying to kill his friends now. Spider-Man has to stop them. They end up doing this kind of really cool fight. Like, he gets a new suit, and then, Happy picks him up after he got hit by the train. He's in a small Netherlands village, town, little area. And he calls Happy on some guy's phone. Happy picks him up in the jet. He makes a new suit there. And there's this really nice moment where the music from the first Iron Man music, what was a song? That Led Zeppelin song starts playing. And, he has the holographic thing on his hand. And he's building the different suits. Just like Iron Man, I really, really like that. I thought that was so good. And Peter is a genius in the comics. He built the suits by himself in the comics. Without any help from Iron Man, in most cases. So yeah, he's a very smart kid. And that's why I was totally okay with him taking over the role of Iron Man. Because I know he's very smart. And he has a lot of power. I know what he can do in the comics. And I've seen what he can do in the movies. I'm totally cool with that. And that just made me really happy. Because I like Spider-Man. I don't like Captain Marvel. And the fact that he is going to be the head of the new MCU going forward, like the new Iron Man, is fantastic. Now, he makes this new suit where it's like his webs. I remember the Iron Spider suit, how he had electric webs and multi-fire to death, all that kind of stuff. I don't know why he didn't use that suit. I assumed he had a good reason, but he used this different suit that he built, pretty much customized it to defeat Mysterio, which he barely does. But he ends up getting his spider sense back and just whoops the shit out of these machines. He is going ape shit on them. He's flying around. He's using the little glider wings from Homecoming, where he flew over that helicopter with the Washington Monument. Remember that? And exactly. I think they're actually a little bit bigger than they were in that one. So he kind of just gliding around, he's shooting his webs, he's electrocuting these things and just destroying them, and really, really, really cool, really, really cool shit. So after he gets up to this platform where Mysterio is, he tries to use the illusions again, but Spider-Man ain't having it. This time he's ready. He's using his spider sense. He beats the crap out of him. Mysterio just goes nuts and just says, "Fire everything! I don't care if I get shot. Just I want to kill him." And he ends up getting shot, and they say that he's dead. They say they kill him. And he checks, I think, Iron Man uses the thing, it's is there any more illusions up? And he's no, the illusions are all gone. So the illusions are all gone, so it seems like he's dead. He could be dead. I think he did die in the comics, actually. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. So maybe they're going to kill him off. But if they don't, and he is alive somehow, then that makes me interested, because they could definitely have the Sinister Six. Because they got Vulture. In prison, the guy had the Scorpion tattoo. That's probably going to be Scorpion. Mysterio. Who else did I need? They need Dr. Octopus, Sandman. I think it's Electro, right? And was Rhino part of that? And before too? No. See, Spider-Man's a lot like Batman. He has so many freaking villains. I'm trying to remember what's what, and I haven't seen that in a while. I just know of it. But that's something that I know they can do. So, anyways, so he's dead, quote unquote dead. Not entirely sure, but we'll say so for now. And Spider-Man stops the drones. And he's like, destroy them all. Because he doesn't want them. Because they're obviously very dangerous. Now, then he goes down, he ends up kissing Mary Jane, blah, 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 they get together, great. That part was nice. It was a good closing to that little subplot, so that was good. Now, the end credit scene, something that I was really waiting to talk to. As you can see, I'm probably a little excited to talk about this. This was the best end credit scene I have ever seen on a Marvel movie. The end credits was Mysterio getting one last good shot off at Spider-Man before he dies. He's like, he edited his death, because when Spider-Man put the glass on, he said, it asked him, do you want us to execute all the drones, to destroy them? Execute that order. He said, yes, execute them all. And then he played a clip of him when he said, where the drones were asking him, if you do this, there could be lots of casualties. And he's like, or the drones, like, casualties will be high. So he edited a video just before he died and sent it to, I believe, one of his cronies, and they uploaded it. It shows Spider-Man being like, he's like, oh no, Spider-Man just attacked me for some reason. He said he's gonna be the next Iron Man. No one's gonna stop me. He's acting like he was like Mysterio was the good guy and Spider-Man was attacking him, and he's like, and it showed Spider-Man. I was like, the drones are like, there will be massive casualties, and then Spider-Man's like, execute them all. Like he's like the villain telling him to kill everybody, and I'm like, oh shit. Well, because Spider-Man just sitting there in the middle of the street with a bunch of people around him, and I'm just like, oh man, this is gonna get intense. And it was like, oh, Spider-Man's real name is Peter Parker, and show a picture of his face up on like his giant screen in New York. I'm like, wow. And honestly, the entire theater started clapping and being like, oh, like that. And I thought it was really good. So that made me energized and excited for what's gonna happen next. Like, that doesn't happen too much in these movies. Usually I'm like, okay, well, I'm excited to see the next movie, but I'm not like, oh, I want to see the next one, like, right now. Like, at the end of Infinity War, I was like, oh, man, I really want to see the next one, like, right now. This one had the same effect with me. Now, there's a second end credit scene where it's like, apparently the Skrulls are back, and they were kind of working for, like, whatever was left of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Nick Fury, which was interesting. I guess that they're going to be kind of like the good guys still. Which is fine, I guess. I'm sure maybe that'll change when, like, the Fantastic Four come, because I know that's one of their enemies, too. So. But, yeah, there's a lot they can do. It's probably not, it's only, like, few years down the line, but, you know, there's a lot of potential here, which is great. So, if I was going to give this movie a rating out of 10, I would give it, I want to say 9. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9 because it's my 4th favorite Marvel movie. The first being Infinity War, Civil War, Iron Man, the original, and now this one, I would say. All those are 9s. Infinity War is probably the closest thing to 10 there, of course, because it's the highest. Like, it's like a 9.8, 9. It's just missing just enough where it's not perfect, but it's still really, really close. I think it's my 2nd favorite movie of all time, actually, after That's My Boy. Love that movie, it's hilarious. But, yep, that's my review of it. Tell me what you guys think if you guys have seen it. If you haven't, well, why are you watching this unless you don't care about spoilers and you just want to hear a guy rant about it or review it, quote-unquote review. I don't really do very good reviews. I just vaguely talk about what happened in the movie and give my opinions on it. But if you did enjoy this, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe as well. That'd be much appreciated. And tell me what you guys think. I'm really curious what you guys thought of it, because I really, really liked this movie. It got me excited for the future. This made me think that, oh, maybe the MCU is not going to die, which is great, because I really like these movies. And I like them when they're actually good movies. Not like Captain Marvel, which sucked. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it still was pretty shit. Anyways, let me know in the comments. Geekopolis out.